Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed.
I didn't come up with that title. I will own it proudly.
I love it. So
That was all gotch. I was like, no, this is more like sleep education, but it didn't work. So Beducation.
sleep education.
Yeah, sleep education, something.
Education.
So Beducation on sleep, and a lot of people always ask me how I sell. People have wanted to come out and see me sell, things like that. And I am a very prescriptive seller, and I talk a lot about everything but the bed. I talk a lot about how they can fix their sleep, and I think that it earns us some good results. So Gotch and I spent hours and hours and hours putting this presentation together, and we think it's pretty cool. We want to start with, what do you know about sleep? How do you educate your guests when they come in? What do we already know?
We all need it.
We all need sleep. Yes, that's true. Heart?
4 stages of sleep.
There's 4 stages of sleep? That's interesting. Okay, yes.
Sleep about a third of your life in bed.
A third of your life in bed, yes. Absolutely.
We want to be in REM.
You want to get your REM, that's correct.
Which is the 5th stage of sleep.
Which is the 5th stage of sleep. Thank you, Brian Dollop. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, those 2 patent pillows.
I want to get through the 4 stages.
I'm skipping the 5th stage.
Yeah.
What else do we need? What else do we know? Y'all know more. Do what? You have to have it or you'll die. That is correct.
When you sleep
Temperature
well, you're happy
change
in the
wakes you up.
morning.
Do what?
You sleep well, you're happy in the morning.
Yeah, it can affect your whole next day, right? Yeah, absolutely.
It rejuvenates the body.
yeah. Yes, Hart?
Temperature change in your body wakes you up out of a stage of sleep or REM sleep.
It can, absolutely. We're going to talk a lot about that today. What else?
Pressure points wake you up.
Pressure points can wake you up, yeah.
In most beds, we still use our muscles to help support us during the night. In some older beds.
Okay, and absolutely, buying a new bed can help with sleep, right? So we're going to take the focus completely off the bed in this section. So we're just going to talk simply about sleep. Nothing about the bed, nothing about pillows, nothing about all that. What else?
You need a good pillow to sleep.
You do, but we're not talking about pillows. Yes, Matt?
Good night's sleep helps to regulate blood pressure and circulation.
Yeah, and you can even widen that, you guys. You could even say that a good night's sleep can grossly affect your health, whether it be positive or negative the next day and throughout your life.
And your mood.
And your mood, yeah. Lindy knows all about that, right?
Yeah.
Can assist with weight loss.
It can assist with weight loss.
In fact, I've lost 40 pounds since hitting my adjustable basis.
Good for you.
Could it be that you started running and eating healthy?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's all the way. Zero to
That's
do
all the
with
way you
it.
spin it, folks. That's all the way you spin it.
They didn't need to know that.
So that's a lot, right? We know a lot about sleep so far, and we're going to learn just a little bit more today. But how often do you guys use this sleep knowledge throughout your sales presentation? We talk about the bed, we talk about pillows, we talk about protectors, we talk about adjustable power bases, right? But how often do you actually get into sleep? Minimum? Okay. Who uses it a lot? Hart? Borelski?
I use the third of life bed every time.
Third of life, yeah, absolutely, right? Durability for a good bed. Borelski, what do you use?
The health benefits mainly.
The health benefits?
Correct.
Yeah.
And if a customer is sleeping on too old of a mattress and they're complaining about waking up,
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible to get a rejuvenating night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible. So you walk around sleep deprived for most of your adult life if you're sleeping on a bad
Yeah.
mattress.
One of the things that we talk about in a lot of other sections is qualifying questions, right? I know you guys have heard me preach on qualifying questions. Qualifying questions are great because it gives us answers, right, to what the guests have needs of. But another thing that it does that I think we overlook a lot is it actually gives your guest, it reminds them of how they felt when they got out of bed this morning, right? Because they don't get out of bed and come directly to our store. They have hours and hours and hours in between the point of getting out of bed and actually coming into our store. And so they have forgotten how crappy their bed was, how bad their back hurt, how tossing and turning or their partner snoring, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So asking those questions can get your guest back in the mindset of how terrible that night's sleep was, right? Thus creating urgency in purchasing a bed to have it delivered tomorrow, right? But do we use it? How do we create value in ourselves? So that's how Borelski does it. Nick, how do you do it?
When it comes to just talking about just sleep health, the third of the life, I always pitch about the fact that the 1/3 affects the other 2/3 of
Yeah.
everything you do. I mean, it can affect your job, you know, how you perform at work. You could lose your job if you have sleep deprivation. I mean,
You can.
things like that.
Yep. Hart?
3 major things I talk about is alignment in the bed, temperature control, and then REM sleep.
Yeah. So a lot of people focus on, again, we focus on beds because that's what we sell so well. Consider that we're selling sleep, though, not just the bed. A bed is simply a component of what we're actually selling, because there's multiple other things that help, right? Adjustable bases, pillows, protectors, actually new beds, all kinds of stuff. So today we're really going to focus on learning some new stuff about sleep, some little tidbits, or if anybody's been trained by me, little nuggets of information that can help us better educate ourselves so that we can be sleep experts. Yes, Matt?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I talked about how there's a cycle of sleep is 4 hours. And so that's why they say 8 hours is optimal. If you don't complete the cycle, then you wake up feeling like you haven't slept well.
Yeah.
So every time you're tossing and turning, waking up, you're interrupting the sleep cycle, and
Yeah.
you're gonna feel like you didn't sleep well.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, and we're going to kind of tweak your information just a little bit, but yes, you're absolutely correct on the idea of if you wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle. So you're still in thunder from later on, so we'll move on. So this is a graph of something that a sleep cycle looks like. And so you have awake at the top and you have deep sleep. Notice that you don't go from awake to deep sleep, and that's where you stay for 7.5 to 8 hours, right? Notice that you're coming in and out. Who has a sleep app on their phone? Does anybody track their sleep, the health of their sleep? You do, Jolliv? You do with your iPhone watch fancy schmancy thing? Okay. So if you ever notice, I did this for a couple months and figured out it didn't work well with my Tempur-Pedic because there's no movement in my bed. But it tracks your movement, and it literally is looking for your heartbeat and several different things depending on what kind of app you have going on. But you go in and out of deep sleep, and that's important. You're supposed to go in and out of deep sleep, and we're going to talk really in depth about sleep cycles. Each sleep stage in any particular sleep cycle fulfills that distinct psychological and neurological function. So every single sleep cycle you're going to go through fulfills a function in your body, which leads us, because we're intelligent people, to know that if you miss one of those cycles, what happens in your world, right? It can cause grumpiness, it can cause pain in the body, it can cause disease in the body, it can cause horrible, terrible next days, right? Each cycle is necessary for the health of the body and the mind, to the extent that if sleep is interrupted or certain stages are missing, the person might feel tired or groggy, even if they spent the so-called proper amount of sleep time. So even if they've been in bed for 8 hours, doesn't mean they got good sleep, right? One of the qualifying questions I ask all the time is, how much time do you spend in bed? And I say 8 or 9 hours. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel more tired than when you went to bed? If the answer to that question is yes, they're not going through all the sleep cycles, right? Or the stages of sleep. What happens when you wake up in a sleep cycle? So let's say you're in stage 2 and you wake up, or stage 3, or REM sleep.
Go back to
start
stage
over.
1.
You have to start all over, right? So that's when they talk about you can't catch up on sleep. That's what they mean, because in fact you can catch up on sleep that you've lost. But that's what they mean. You can't catch up on that sleep cycle. You have to start at the beginning and go through it again. Well, if you got 3 hours left, you're kind of screwed on the whole sleep cycle thing, right? Next day is already starting off on the wrong foot. You do not fall asleep at the same place that you woke up, right? You have to start at the beginning, which we just discovered. And there you go. That's why 8 hours of disrupted sleep does not allow your body and your mind to be refreshed. You don't wake up feeling great. So, if that's the case, and as the sleep cycles continue. This blew my mind, y'all. When I first started at Mattress Firm and I learned about sleep cycles, and I do a lot of research, I thought you fell asleep, you went through 1, 2, 3, 4 in REM, and you woke up. Like, I thought that was a sleep cycle. I had no freaking clue that you actually, in fact, go between 2, 3, and 4 all night long. And that's why on that first graph that we saw, you see that. So that's someone going in and out of 2, 3, and 4 throughout the entire night. I see now why we don't do these individually. Okay, so you start in the very first one. You have interim between conscious and sleep, and this is really cool. We're going to talk about this. You move to stage 2. Your heart rate slows. Your brain does less complicated tasks. You move into stage 3, which is a non-REM sleep. Body starts to make repairs, right? So your brain is highly active during sleep. The rest of your body is not, but your brain is going crazy busy. It works all night long, right? Then you go into 4, where your body temperature and blood pressure decreases, and then you move into REM sleep, okay? Which is an increase in eye movement. We all know it stands for rapid eye movement, right? Breathing and blood pressure and temperature, all of those things are decreasing. That's why anybody ever go to sleep and they're hot at night and they wake up in the morning. My husband does this. He sleeps with no covers on, and then in the morning he is bundled under the covers, and he was like, I don't get it. I'm like, your body temperature drops throughout the night. It's supposed to. So there are 5 stages of sleep. Mike Hart, you might want to write this one down. Stage 1.
Don't worry, I already did.
There are 2 things that happen in this, alpha and theta. And Rich, I actually thought of you when we were doing this the other day. This stage, so when you lay down and you're getting into stage 1, alpha and theta happen in this stage. And this is a stage where you are almost daydreaming. You lay there and you're kind of conscious, but you're not. So you can hear things, right? You can lay there and you're falling into sleep. People who spend a ton of time in meditation or deep prayerfulness spend more time in this stage than others. And this is a great way to get into deep, deep sleep. So the more time you spend in this area, the better sleep you're actually going to have. I researched that on my way home last night. So those who practice meditation or deep prayerfulness hang out in alpha longer. It's a restful place. Now this is cool. It is not unusual to have a feeling of falling followed by a sudden muscle contraction during this stage. So how many of you guys have been laying there getting ready to pass out, and all of a sudden you're like, and you felt like you're falling, right? You freak out, yes. So that is, I read about that. I cannot pronounce the word, but it is a
Spell it.
I think it's myopic. It's when your muscles contract, and what's happening is your brain is fighting for consciousness and sleep. And so if you have not produced something, and we're going to talk about what you produce to actually go to sleep, but if you haven't produced enough of this, your brain is still fighting to be active. And so the other side of your brain is trying to go to sleep, and that's that clash. So when you jolt like that, it's a clash of your brain. It's one side, the other, trying to go, no, I win, no, I win. Typically, right after that, you can fall asleep, and you go into a deeper sleep. Interestingly enough, there's about 2% of the population that cannot then fall asleep after they've been jolted awake like that. These two right here are in that category. Jalop just doesn't sleep at all. That's why he's grabbing. Stage 2. This stage actually takes 20 minutes. So how many of y'all were under the impression that each stage of sleep was 90 minutes? I was under that impression. Nobody? Y'all smarter than me? I thought each stage took 90 minutes, and that's why you needed 7.5 hours to sleep. Right? 90 times 5, 7.5. We got it. But no, in fact, it's 20 minutes. And your brain produces short periods of rapid rhythmic brainwave activity. Your body temperature begins to drop, and your heart rate begins to slow. Stage 3. This is delta waves, right? No one made the joke. I thought they would.
I was gonna.
We did all day.
Delta.
Thank you. So it's known as delta waves, and so they begin to emerge in this stage. It's a transitional period between light and very, very deep sleep. And then stage 4 is deep sleep that lasts for about 30 minutes. This is where sleepwalking and bedwetting generally occur. Pad. That's all gosh. Sometimes I don't get to put things in or take things out. That's this at home. Stage 5. This is
funny.
How much time?
Huh?
How much time, if you had those, how much time has gone by?
So I would love to be able to give you an exact, but here's what I will tell you. It really depends, especially where you're looking. It depends on how much people spend in alpha and theta. It really does. So people, you and I, Rich, David, we probably spend a ton more time there than a traditional amount of human beings. And you can actually, the more time you spend there, the deeper you will actually sleep. That's the truth of that. So typically you're looking at about 60 minutes, depending on how long you spend in alpha and theta. That's a really good question. A person will go through an average of 4 to 5 sleep cycles in an 8 hours night. It is imperative that these sleep cycles do not get interrupted. I got nothing. So, you ever have a morning like that?
Every morning.
I know, Lindy. It's okay. Does anybody? I've done this where you go to brew your
What's
coffee.
Cafe?
What?
Oh, yeah. There's
Sorry,
It's
I had
a hard
to.
group, man.
I
It's
had
hard
to.
for y'all are hard. It's because they woke up and didn't have coffee. Anybody ever not put grounds in their coffee? Me too, Spellmeyer. Okay, good. I'm not the only
I
one.
forgot to put water in.
Yeah, so I
So ready for it, then you gotta make it all again.
I stayed at a friend's house over the weekend and they had a Keurig, and I didn't push the button, and I went back 5 minutes later and I was like, this is broken. I was so upset. It just wasn't on. So there's 3 steps to a better night's sleep. And you could be sitting here thinking, like, how am I going to use all of this information? And so we're going to tie this in on how you would use this in a presentation. When you are talking to a guest and they say things like, I sleep hot, or I toss and turn all night long, and things like that, this is where you're going to include those little nuggets of information. And we'll teach you how. But room temperature is the number one thing. Does anybody know, don't look at your sheet, the optimal temperature for a room to sleep in?
65 or 67.
David?
I'm gonna guess 68.
I would say
Drosky?
50.
I'll say 65.
I would say 58.
58. You should live with my husband. 60 to 67 degrees is the optimal room temperature. The colder you can get it, the better you're going to sleep.
So your husband's right.
He is. Don't tell him I didn't.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Tempur-Pedic does not operate well between 60 and 67 degrees.
As of April 2nd, that won't be a problem for us. So
We're
what's
getting rid of
next?
Next question.
Simmons does.
That's a terrible
Minnesota
question.
does.
Moving on.
One and done.
Any other questions about that? I can go all day long. All right. So optimal room temperature.
I can answer that intelligently if you want.
Can you please? Was
So-
that not an intelligent answer? Is that what you were?
That's a right answer for sure.
Okay.
The body temperature is what drives Tempur-Pedic, not the room temperature. That's why it reacts to your body temperature. That's what causes it to change, not what room temperature is. So,
You're about ready to have an argument because anybody who sleeps in Tempur-Pedic will tell you that if your room is cold, your bed is hard, right?
And if anyone's got the little tear out, that's exactly what it says is what they were saying.
Thank you. So
To keep your room at 65.
good thing you're not
teaching
recording.
you how to
All
sum
right.
it for one more month.
So optimal room temperature is 60 to 67 degrees. Makes you fall asleep more quickly. Did you know that? That's why we have cooling stuff on all this stuff. Because the colder you can get your body, the faster that you can go to sleep. The faster you go to sleep, the quicker you get to REM. The quicker you get to REM, the better you feel when you wake up in the morning. So it's kind of a game, right? Get to REM the fastest. If it's too hot or too cold, your body wastes energy trying to regulate your temperature. How do we regulate temperature?
Stick our feet out
That's
from
right.
underneath the
You play the
cover.
hokey pokey all night long. This, you guys, is where you tie in. What are you laughing?
That was a good one.
This is where you tie in your cooling technology, right? So if if your wife likes to sleep with the temperature at 78 degrees, which is what I do, you can have lots of cooling technology in the bedroom. I don't win that fight, Kelly. I lose every night.
Say, that's hot.
I know. My husband says the same thing. Proper room temperature allows you to fall into a deeper sleep more quickly, and that's the goal, right? Proper temperature allows your body to burn more calories, which is why Jolly has lost so much weight. And it helps you look more youthful. Sleeping in proper temperatures allow your body to release more melatonin, which is incidentally one of our body's best anti-aging hormones. You'll look younger. That does not say Tempur-Pedic. That says temperature moderating mattresses, cooling pillows, and breathable waterproof protection. These are on your handouts, not so that we can teach you about this, but so that you can know the tie-ins. This is where you would go with this information, right? Blinded by the Light. This one was mine. I did want to sing the song. Anybody want to go for it? Thank you, Lindy. This is why she's my work best friend.
Revved up like a what? Nobody knows.
We're not going in.
Nobody knows?
I knew that.
All right.
One of the key factors in how human sleep is regulated is exposure to light or dark. Who knows this?
It needs to be.
Yeah, that's why you get blackout curtains. That's absolutely right. Here's so when we were learning about this, and I knew this and I teach this, but a lot of people, did not. I was kind of surprised on that. To fall asleep at night, your brain has to produce melatonin. That's a hormone that's produced in the pineal gland with peak levels occurring at night. Incidentally, if you were to test your brain in the middle of the day, it would show 0 to 2 on the scale of 100 of how much melatonin is actually in your body. It is darkness or the lack of light that creates melatonin in your body. So if you have someone who says, I take melatonin supplements, and they take it at 5 in the evening thinking it's going to kick in by 9 p.m., it doesn't work at all. Because the melatonin is a hormonal supplement that literally just creates the pineal gland to get out more melatonin, right? To exude more melatonin. So they need to take it at night, right? It's going to wow you guys.
Take it at 9, not at 5.
Take it at 9 p.m. So if you're going to take melatonin and you're going to go to sleep, 9 p.m. is the optimal time to take that. Whether you're going to fall asleep at 10, 11, or 12, it's lights out. You don't want to take it and then be in your room like this, it's lit up. Or take it and then be on your smart device with that blue light. That light will actually suppress melatonin from being made. And that is what you need to tell your guests. That's the key part of that. Yeah, Nick?
I do have one statement. It's kind of an interesting fact I studied. Dark red light is the only light that you actually fall asleep to and still have the room lit. And
Dark red light. Okay.
Yeah, because it lights up the room. So if you do wake up, you're not in pitch blackness.
Yeah.
But it does let you still fall asleep.
So it does not stop melatonin
The
from
blue
being
light's
produced.
what's harmful.
Yeah.
And that's why I fall
That's
asleep with
interesting.
TV
So anybody
or
have hue
app.
lighting at home? Turn your lights to red.
So isn't there an app? Somebody told me that kills the blue light in your phone and your
There is.
now, yeah.
I thought it was blue.
There is. Your
Yeah,
phones
blue
can
light
do that.
filter.
Yeah, it's set up.
This was interesting. Now that you guys are on this topic, this was interesting. I was reading about this. They did not start studying sleep until the most recent years, probably the last 20 or 30 years. It's kind of incredible to me why they didn't study sleep more.
Is having the TV on effect?
The TV absolutely does affect
That's where you
greatly.
get the blue light.
Greatly actually, because that blue light. Now, some people have actually been able, I can fall asleep with the TV on and I can sleep all night with on. It doesn't bother me at all. My husband couldn't fall asleep to save his life. But here's what, my husband has sleep troubles anyway. I'm a very deep sleeper, but I've noticed that now that I don't sleep with the TV on, I wake up and I feel more refreshed. I think what's happening is even though the TV's on and I might be sleeping, it's not a deep REM restful sleep. So a lot of your guests will be like, well, I sleep with the TV on and I sleep just fine. Well, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Like crap? Okay, well, there's a connection there. So light suppresses the body's ability to produce melatonin. That means at 5 p.m. when the sun's up, your body is not producing melatonin. It's not. That's why you don't feel sleepy. But at 9 p.m. when the sun goes down, melatonin gets produced. It's in the middle of the brain. If you drilled straight in the pineal gland, melatonin is produced. Light causes body to produce cortisol, which is actually, it's not a hormone, it's a steroid that wakes you up. That is why people that sleep during the day fail to get quality restorative sleep. People who have to sleep, if you work third shift and you come home and have to work through the day, they have to go through a whole lot more to get a good 8 hours of restful sleep. A ton more, because their brain is not creating melatonin. There's a bunch of different steps. That's another Beducation. This is going to be an ongoing thing that we do. It is vitally important for your sleep environment to not have too much light of any kind, okay? So blackout curtains, right? Shutting off your electronics 30 minutes to an hour before you go to sleep. Drown out the noise. What is up with our brains and our ears? Do your ears work when you're sleeping?
Yes.
Sure do. White noise. We didn't know this. Scotch and I learned this, right, the other day. White noise is a consistent noise that comes out evenly across all hearable frequencies. White noise creates a masking effect that blocks out sudden changes and frustrates light sleepers. Anybody have children or have babysat children know that they can fall asleep in the loudest environment possible. You can take them to a hockey game. You can take them to, you can be cleaning their room and picking up toys, right? The second that noise stops, what happens to the kid?
They wake up.
They wake up. So it's not necessarily loud noise that wakes you up. It is a noise that is different than what you've been experiencing, right? That's why white noise is such a good buffer, because it's a noise, it's going on all frequencies. So it doesn't matter if a pan crashes in the kitchen or someone bangs on the front door. Every single frequency is you're hearing on that level, so it won't wake you up. That's why you sleep a little bit deeper. So what wakes you up at night is you're awoken by a sudden change or an inconsistency in noise that jars you and wakes you up. How much sleep do you really need? Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Who uses white noise now when they sleep? All right. So Lindy, what do you do?
Fan.
Fan, Mike.
Yeah.
I have a white noise machine. You can get Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
Is it just a static, or do you
No,
use rain
there's
or beaches?
different options, but it's mainly just a static.
Is there an app for it on your watch?
So I sleep with a fan, and I travel a reasonable amount, and I have a white noise machine that I take with me. I cannot sleep without the dang thing. I just cannot do it. But I sleep well through the night when I do. So.
Get paranoid when it's silent.
You can, I'm coming to you. You can hear every single little creak of the house and everything else. Yes, David?
Yeah, as you get older and get tinnitus, then you have natural white noise. You know what tinnitus is?
No.
Tinnitus is those crickets.
Oh, that's what you have.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Yeah.
See, once you get old, it goes away. There you go.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's fun.
Yeah, this was interesting to me, you guys, because I always wondered, I babysat a lot, I don't have any children, but I would notice the kids fell asleep in a lot of noise, but as soon as it got quiet, they'd wake up, and it was just mind-blowing to me. I was like, this kid is obviously broken. I don't know what's wrong with it. So, now I know. It's not broken, the kid was actually just did not have enough white noise. So, this is how much sleep you actually need, and it breaks it down all the way from newborns all the way down to adults. We're still at 7 to 9 hours. How many of you honestly get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night?
I wish.
Yeah, I do. I do.
9 o'clock, time to
Yeah.
bed, everybody go sleep.
And I'm still tired.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing with
So Lindy's gonna take away good stuff so she can actually get good sleep now, right? She'll update us. I thought this was really crazy interesting, and now I know why my sister-in-law didn't want me to keep my nephew up past his bedtime, because they need a lot of sleep. So, Amanda, this was all for you. The script was all for you, just so you know. Anybody going to see the movie when it
I
comes
was just
out?
gonna say, Rhea.
Yeah, we're totally going. It's
I need to-
date.
I need to do this.
And we're wearing costumes, just so you know.
Oh, you didn't tell me we were in costumes.
We're wearing
So we're going. She's staying home.
I saw it at the Muni, does that count?
Let me ask you guys this: have you, as we went through this presentation, how many of you all thought, "Oh, I could use that there. I could use that there. Oh, I should have said this to my guest." How many of you guys showing him? Yeah. So, Rich, what'd you take away?
The, this whole idea of the cycles that we go in and out of.
Yeah.
And if you don't get all the way through them to REM sleep, you have to go back to the beginning and start over.
Yeah.
I'm not very, I can't verbalize it yet, I will study it.
You'll be able to, yeah.
I will study it and use that.
Yeah, good. Amanda?
The cycle thing is why they say the snooze is like the dumbest thing you could hit.
You're absolutely right. Snooze is the worst thing you could possibly do.
Just
Just get up. Yeah, why won't
I always
Why
I always get into the, I'll call it a discussion every evening about whether or not the TV should be on, and I know it should be off, but now I know a little bit more of just why it should
Yeah.
be on.
So your wife's right and you're wrong. Is that what you're saying?
This is being recorded, right?
Lewis?
I think this is something important to know because, of course, our guests come in and they're looking for, I mean, probably 99% of the guests don't know this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we do educate them on that. Then it builds more trust between us and the guest if we can tell them kind of certain things they're going through and why they should sleep certain different ways. So I think it's a good take. I definitely want this emailed to me.
You've got it on your clipboard, Rich?
People react to the pain that they have in life, but they don't know always what's causing the pain. And this will help us to identify what's causing the pain.
Yeah. When we're on the floor and we're presenting and we're teaching a guest, if we just tell them it needs to be dark in your room when you're sleeping, let's move on. Right?
You gotta give them a reason why.
Yeah, you got to give them the why behind it, right? And when you're giving them the why, you're simply creating value in you as a sleep expert. So it's not just about beds here for us. It's not just about pillows or adjustable bases or sleep systems or any of that. It really, I see you and I'll get to you. It really is about creating value in us that we know. Rich, you called me one day and you said, I want to be a sleep expert. I don't feel like one. And it inspired me. I was like, we all should want to be sleep experts because that's what we do is sell sleep. This is just simply the venue in which we do it. Hart, you had a question?
Oh no, it's more of a comment. Like,
Go ahead.
well, if you get proficient in some of these topics during those those silent times in your process, it can be really informative for our guests, and it can build a lot of value in yourself when you don't have anything else to really say about the mattress that they're laying on. So.
Yeah. Jordan?
Urban too, like you can tell by their body language. Like, so if you see something wrong with their eyes are a little bit red, you ask the question. That builds quality in yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else? So we're gonna show you what this looks like. So I understand when we were going through it, Josh is like, well, how do you put that into a presentation? And so we're gonna take those 3 tidbits. What are the 3 tidbits? What's the first one?
Room temperature.
Room temperature, thank you guys. Second one?
Light.
Light. And the third one is? White noise. So temperature, noise, and light. God, I forgot it. Yeah, temperature, light, and noise, okay? Those 3 things, if you only take those three things away and use them in your presentation, I guarantee you by the end, your guest is going to think that you are a sleep expert. And we'll show you what it looks like. Who would like to be my guest? Lindy, great, come on up.
We'll just use this bed right
Yeah, here, let me get you a great pillow. Throw me a pillow. A good one.
Firm or soft,
Make it a different one.
foam or feather.
Jesus,
Knock out the
Bible?
sleep expert.
That's not how you're going to get to this team, just so you know. You can't fill it in.
Well,
You're good.
it might work.
We could vote on it.
All right.
Survivors.
I just already.
So I've sold the sale. I've done connect. I've done compare. We're on build value. Okay. Lindy is on this. We've tried a couple beds. This is where she's at. Lindy, how you feeling?
I like it.
Yeah. Side note. So we're gonna go in and out of this role play, just so you know. How many times do you get a guest on a bed and you want to keep them there? They need to stay on the bed, right? And what do? You talk about the bed, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Okay, this is this bed, and this is the spec, and this is the spec. If you could take it away from the bed and talk simply about their sleep needs or what maybe they're experiencing in their room, it takes all the pressure off the bed and builds you or creates you as the sleep expert. So, Lindy, are you feeling any pressure in your shoulder, your hip? I know we talked about you tossing and turning at night. Feeling
Don't
good?
feel anything.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions like I have been this whole entire time. I'm a big questions person. But let's talk a little bit about your room that you're sleeping in, because I know we're getting a new bed, which is going to just be an amazing thing for you. It's going to help you sleep better. But there's a couple things that I know that I've been researching and have been reading that could possibly help you. So when you go to sleep, what's kind of the environment of your room? Tell me about it.
TV has to be on. Fan has to be on. Blackout lights. Oh my God, thank you.
Just raise you up, sorry.
And yeah, I need this bed. I usually go to bed first.
You go to bed first?
Yes, and then my partner comes in way too late, wakes me up.
And what wakes you up?
Him flattening the bed.
Him flattening the bed? That
Yeah.
sucks, I'm sorry. So you
Yeah,
already have adjustable
movement.
bases? Oh.
Right.
So when
I'll
he
need
flattens
new
the bed, so he's moving the bed, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so movement in the bed. Again, this Tempur-Pedic, there's absolutely no movement throughout the bed, so you probably won't feel it as much. But you said you have blackout curtains?
Yeah.
How did you ever come about getting those? Just out of
They came
curiosity?
with the house,
They came with
and
the house.
it makes a huge difference because
Yeah.
I like it pitch black.
So there's an interesting fact, Lindy, I know in all the research that I've done that what actually puts you to sleep is a hormone called melatonin, and melatonin cannot be produced if there's light of any kind. Blue light, sunlight.
I used to have to
light.
take pills.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah. Know that if you're going to take melatonin, you want to take it when it's lights out. Otherwise, they won't work. You can take melatonin at noon, and it won't do a darn thing. It will not make you sleepy because there's lights on everywhere. So that's interesting. So you've got the blackout curtains going. What about a white noise? Do you know about white noise or fans or?
I always have a fan on, but mainly because I'm usually hot at night, so I don't know.
So that fan does more than just cool you off, and this bed again has freeze technology, so it's going to work. But that fan actually has a noise that comes out of it. It's called a white noise, and that means that you're hearing on every level of frequency that there is, right? So your brain hears this noise. If there's a loud noise outside of your door, or a ambulance going down the street, or sirens of some sort, you're going to be less likely to hear that because your brain is already hearing at that frequency. So it's not going to jolt you out of the deep sleep that you're in. Okay. So we've discussed the light, we've discussed the noise, and what about? Why am I
Temperature.
forgetting? Thank you. I created this. What temperature are you sleeping in? You said you sleep hot with a fan on.
I do. We usually keep the house at like 71, which is ridiculous.
You're
So,
too warm?
I'm way too warm. Kicking stuff off, throwing it back on, opening windows.
So you can go home and tell your man this, that the optimal sleeping temperature is 60 to 67 degrees. You win that war. But what happens is your body needs to decrease in temperature in order to get into a deep REM sleep, which REM is what, when you wake up in the morning, is actually what has you feeling refreshed. So if you can do those three things, right? You got the blackout curtains going, add a fan and drop the temp, get the new bed, the pillow, we got the whole deal. I think you're going to sleep a little bit
And the
better.
new adjustable bases.
Yeah, you need the new ones.
Right.
Those 100s don't work quite out so well.
Take it.
Yeah, I have to buy a new one.
You do have to buy new ones. Yeah, you'll take it? Okay. So that's just a little bit of how you work that in. Yes, you can see right there. It's fine with me. I use this all the time, you guys. There's not a presentation that I don't do that I don't give them some little nugget of information. Because my thought is this: if they're, let's say I walk the guest, right? Let's say I've done everything that I can. I've asked them to buy 6 times. I've gone over everything, but that guest is determined. They've got their notebook in their hand and they're walking out the door. I can guarantee you our competition is not telling them what I just told them. So I'll walk them out the door. I'll give them every nugget of information I have. Hold the door open, please. Go right across the street, and I'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Because they're not doing it. They're not. So if you can add just one, just put one, add one into your sales presentation, I guarantee you, you'll start to see that it makes a huge difference. We have to create value in ourselves. We spend so much time creating value in our products, which is great because there's a ton of value to be created. But truth be told, if you read the reviews, people will tell you they bought products from me because of me, not because of the bed. I could sell them a Simmons or a Tempur, and it's not going to matter one way or another to them long term. It's they trust me. They buy from me, right? So I encourage you, I urge you, take 1 or 2 of these, use them. If you have questions, Gotcha and I talked about this. We're going to be doing this, Beducation. It's going to be an ongoing thing. So this is kind of the entry level one, and then we're going to keep stepping it up a little bit. So we might have Beducation 201, 301, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, Rich.
I have a quick question. When you're talking about how the room is set up and what's going on, do you find husband and wife getting into like, that's what I've been telling you, and arguing with each other about?
I'm sorry. Please ignore these rude people.